Good morning and welcome to the Dubai Advantage webinar series this week featuring the logistics sector. My name is Joe Hepworth. I'm the Chief Executive Officer and founder of the British Centres for Business, the BCB, based here in the UAE. Thank you for joining us this morning in the UK or this afternoon if you're elsewhere in the world. Next slide. This is the fourth and final of our series in cooperation with our friends at Dubai FDI. We've already covered food and agriculture, the technology sector, healthcare, and I think we've had over 300 UK companies attend. So thank you for joining us today. And next slide. We've got a really strong lineup for you this morning to talk through the sector, what's happening in the UAE. This is obviously a very strong industry for the UAE and from Dubai's perspective, and has been for many years. So we've got lots of the key actors in the industry to talk you through, and I'm very pleased. I think our first speaker is Mr. Marwan Al-Naqbi, who is the Head of Economic Affairs at the UAE Embassy in London, who's going to give us something of an update on the macro situation and things for you to understand. Obviously, given that the current environment, I think very good to get a macro picture before we move on to the sector. So Marwan, if I can hand over to you, please.
Thank you very much for that introduction and for inviting me along to this discussion today. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a great honor to be with you all here at this wonderful gathering. But let me begin on behalf of the UAE Embassy by thanking our host, Dubai FDI, which to many who are familiar with, it has been since its inception, playing a fundamental role in supporting companies and investors from around the world with expert advice, resources, and knowledge to ensure a successful market entry into Dubai. I would also like to extend my thanks to BCB and OCO for making this event happen. Indeed, in today's world, this event could not be timelier as logistics became a challenge overnight since the lockdown. The single most relevant common denominator of which to fight against the impact of pandemic by ensuring continuity and supplying of goods, medicines, and other essential equipments around the clock in a timely manner. The UAE logistic industry has been resilient and vibrant during the lockdown period, testament to a decades of significant investment in multimodal facilities and infrastructure that rendered the UAE as the de facto regional hub for doing business regionally and beyond. With an access to award-renowned airlines such as Emirates and Etihad, to first-class ports and port management companies such as Jebel Ali and Dubai, to name few. Our modern day position enabled us to act as the most easternly and westernly hub for Europe and Asia, respectively, giving you an access to a third of the world's population within 4 hours flights. Indeed, we are blessed in many ways, but that doesn't stop us from providing for a sound and sustainable future. Our diversification strategy is set to accelerate the economic further. The UAE is often seen as a hydrocarbon-based economy, but it's our credit that we have successfully reduced the contribution of oil to the nation economy. Oil today accounts for only 30% of our country's GDP. The UAE has already set a strategy to further limit dependence on oil to 20% by 2021. As a nation, we have set our eyes on prosperity and stability for our people from early stages since our unification in 1971. Today, on the eve of marking our 50th anniversary in 2021, thanks to our leaders' vision, we are now most diversified economy in the region. Certainly, we live in a global economy where we are increasingly interconnected. The imperative of working with your partners, and the desire to forge new relationship with a degree of openness in economics and trade relations, it is an integral element of sustained economic growth in the 21st century. The United Kingdom is a long-standing trusted and valued friend of the United Arab Emirates. With the joint efforts of both our government, enterprises, and people, the scope and the scale of bilateral ties have expanded and developed beyond set targets. Today, cooperations between our two countries spans a broad spectrum of spheres, from economic cooperation to a strategic.
Marwan, are you still there? I think we may have lost Marwan. Apologies for that. If we get him back, we'll come to that. So I think we'll move on if we can now, Abby, please. And it's my pleasure to introduce His Excellency Farhad Al Gagawi, who's the CEO of Dubai FDI. Dubai FDI is a staunch supporter of UK business, of UK companies, and has been a great supporter to us in the BCB over the years to help British companies come in and set up. Farhad, I hope you're there. I appreciate we've just, Marwan, you're back. Sorry, Mark.
Yeah, Marwan. I'm sorry, there was a technical problem, I believe.
We'll continue with you. Excuse me, Farhad, we'll come to you in a second. Marwan, please continue.
I'm sorry. All right, so our people-to-people relation also manifests several non-trade fronts. There are over 5,000 British companies currently operating in the UAE. Over 100,000 British nationals are estimated to be living, working, and studying in the UAE, helping to underpin a particularly strong presence of British businesses in the country. In 2015, over 1.5 million British tourists visited the UAE. The UK, leaving the EU, has locked many minds locally and around the world on what it means to them. Invariably, the UAE commands an enviable position in its readiness to offer growth opportunities for the UK companies and investors, whichever. The UAE offers a first-class infrastructure, burgeoning services sectors, stellar performances from the tourism sectors and growing knowledge economy, and equally relevant, a stable environment to do business. And with Dubai hosting Expo 2021, an $8 billion project that will, we hope, deliver an event that to remember. The Expo is forecast to boost Dubai economy by $23 billion, and it will culminate with an event that will receive an unprecedented 25 million visitors coming to Dubai over 6 months, of many which I hope will be British nationals. I therefore invite you all to leverage this shared platform to collaborate in establishing stronger ties. Thank you. And sorry for the technical issue over there.
Marwan, thank you very much. And thank you for opening us up on such a positive note and putting the UK-UAE relationship in such a strong context there. Thank you. So moving on now to His Excellency Mr. Farhad, who's the CEO of Dubai FDI, as I mentioned before, a great supporter of the BCB and just a great supporter of UAE-UK relations, and as Marwan mentioned, all of those UK businesses that have come into Dubai and made a home here. Dubai FDI and Farhad and his team have played a strong role in that. So Farhad, welcome, and thank you again for this partnership, and we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Pleasure, and thank you all for being with us today. I'm pleased to welcome you to explore the opportunities in Dubai's logistics sector and the businesses or British businesses can benefit from. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank our embassy, UAE Embassy in UK, and His Excellency Mr. Al-Naqvi for being with us today. And that goes all the way to His Excellency also the Ambassador, Mr. Bilhol, for opening the first session of this series of conferences or webinars with the UK. At the same time, I'd like to thank the OCO Global and the British Business Centre or British Centre for Businesses, BCB, in helping to facilitate this webinar. My thanks also to our partners in this event, being the Jebel Ali Free Zone Authority, JAFZA, with Mr. Mohammed Luta, and Dubai Airport Free Zone Authority with Mr. Jamal Marghoub. Thank you for being with us today, and I'm sure you will put valuable information to our audience. I will not go to many areas in terms of data, because Mr. Al-Naqvi have covered a lot on that. Just want to stop on that. The investment from UK to Dubai last year saw a growth of 187% in the first 9 months only, and that is a clear point that British businesses sees a huge opportunity in our city. That number was 1.3 billion British pound comparing to the year before. Ladies and gentlemen, Dubai has a tremendous geographical advantage, being positioned between Europe, Asia, and Africa. Dubai continue as an investment in multi-model facilities and infrastructure over decades, and has ensured that our city played no small role in ensuring the flow of essential goods along COVID-19 and its supply chain globally. This includes the humanitarian aid and shipment of essential goods to many countries, and is still going on actually to this day. Many United Nations agencies have made Dubai their hub for distribution of personal protective equipment, ventilators, ambulance kits, testing kits, and food supply to the Middle East, Africa, Asia, and the CIS region. Even now, it's stronger pipeline of transport infrastructure project planned under the Traffic and Transport Plan 2030. And this is Dubai long-term transport development program to expand the road, the airport capacity, and public transport systems. Everyone knows Dubai being currently the third largest aviation hub in the world, through Dubai Airport being handling 91 million passengers last year, directly after Atlanta, Georgia in USA, and Shanghai in China. But in terms of international passengers, it's perfectly #1 globally, because basically we don't have domestic flights. Dubai also enjoying being the 9th largest port hub in the world, with Jebel Ali Free Zone playing this role into it. The infrastructure is primarily being developed, but at the same time, Dubai geographical location is the center of where 2.4 billion consumer market with direct access from Dubai have been established long time ago. This is the markets of Middle East, Indian subcontinent, North and East Africa. Dubai offers strong reasons to invest in its logistics center with infrastructure that includes the port, the airport, as well as one of the world's largest airline networks, with Emirates Airline being served in here into global connectivity with 6 continents around the world. At the same time, the ultra-modern highway system connecting neighboring countries, and 3PL and climate control warehousing facilities, among many others. All of this makes the logistics one of the most and robust investment opportunities in Dubai. I'd like to assure you that Dubai team today are available to help making your investment journey or your business in Dubai seamless and successful. I'd like to thank you again, and thank all my colleagues being with us today. This is the 4th and the last series of webinars with the UK. And we're so happy with the success we had and looking forward for more. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Fahad, thank you very much indeed. Thank you for joining us and for those words. And I think, you know, we're going to touch, I think, a lot on that, the geographical position that Dubai has and has taken advantage of. But you mentioned a couple of other things there around the infrastructure and what Dubai's done with that geographical position, which are lots of, you know, most other countries and places haven't, and really made the most of it. And I'm looking forward to hearing from our colleagues at DAFZA and JAFZA on that. Moving on to Mr. Bradley Jones. So I'm very pleased to have Brad join us. Brad is the Executive Director for the UAE UK Business Council and has only recently started in this role. A great pleasure to have Brad with us today, just to give a bit of a flavour on some of the things that the Business Council is developing in general. So Brad, I'm going to hand over to you, please.
Thanks very much, Joe. And thank you to Your Excellency for inviting me to speak at this webinar. Although the Business Council's been in existence for a few years, we've been going through a major transformation. We're restructuring the organisation and we're going to be scaling up our activity. And this is part of efforts by both the UK and the UAE governments to raise our level of engagement in terms of the trade and investment relationship between the two countries. So in terms of the transformation that's happened already, we have two new co-chairs, Sir Ed Lister, who is the Chief Strategic Advisor to Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and His Excellency Ahmed Ali Al Sayed, the Chairman of Abu Dhabi Global Markets and Minister of State. And another part of that transformation is that we've established a joint secretariat, which I have recently set up. And this joint secretariat is designed to support the interests of our UAE stakeholders and members, as well as our UK stakeholders and members. And our ambition is to be the thought leadership forum where business leaders, entrepreneurs from both sides can come together to talk about the market access barriers, the trade policy issues that are perhaps hindering engagement on a commercial level between both countries, and also to identify emerging trends and new opportunities where there is scope for greater partnership and greater collaboration. So with this in mind, we've recently established 5 sectoral working groups led by very eminent business leaders on both sides. And these working groups are in the areas of innovation, future technology and fourth industrial revolution, industry and infrastructure, education, skills and culture, hydrocarbons and sustainable energy, and healthcare. And those working groups over the course of the next year to 18 months will identify those, as I mentioned, the barriers to closer engagement and the opportunities. In addition to those 5 working groups, we'll be running a series of campaigns in other sectors, such as food security, space, and hopefully we can do something very useful on logistics as well. So that's where we're at. We're a relatively new organisation. We will be reviewing our membership structure over the course of the next few months. We do want to attract more members, particularly from SMEs and from entrepreneurs, and across a wider spectrum of sectors. We work very closely with a range of UAE partners from the UAE Embassy in London, from whom we get terrific support, our stakeholders across the UAE, as well as the British Centres for Business, the BBG, and the British Embassy in the UAE. Part of our remit is also on the UK side to educate UAE companies on the opportunities outside of London and Manchester, to educate them more about the opportunities in the devolved administrations and the English regions. And in a similar vein, we will be doing a lot more to make UK companies aware of the opportunities in the Northern Emirates outside of Abu Dhabi and Dubai. So that's our ambition. Over the course of the next few months, we will continue this transition and we will fully relaunch as the newly restructured Business Council early in the new year. So thank you very much for your time. A very great pleasure to be taking part in this webinar.
Brad, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us and for giving us the overview there. And I know that there's lots of companies who are looking forward to that relaunch and being more accessible for SMEs and things. So we'll certainly be spreading that message on your behalf. So through I think all of us, you'll be able to follow that.
Great. Thanks very much.
Moving on. So just quickly, a small piece here on the BCB and why we're involved in this while we're running this webinar and how we might be able to help you with your export and or your investment journey into the UAE. So we were set up 7 years ago as a child of a British government and Dubai government initiative to help encourage bilateral trade and investment. We're partnered still with the Department for International Trade at the embassy. And in the last 5 years, actually that number now is at 93 million because I checked before we came on. So we've done almost £100 million worth of economic value and exports there. We've helped 45 companies set up here through our unique incubator platform that Farhad and his team were instrumental in supporting us on. And we're really here to help you with your trade and investment journey into the UAE. And we're part of a wider ecosystem, some of which we've already touched on, and it's sort of represented here with, with the UAE embassy in London, with the business council, with our friends from Dubai FDI and the other Dubai partners, where you've got a whole ecosystem of support around the British government, around the devolved authorities, around the British business groups, both in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, all of whom are here to help you, and private sector actors like Santander, who I was just talking to this morning on a healthcare webinar, who are very active on this trade lane and are really wanting to help promote bilateral trade and investment. As I mentioned, we've been very proudly partnered with Dubai FDI for a number of years, and now more recently with Dubai SME, which our incubator is now a certified member of. And really, one of the reasons that we've achieved such support is because the companies who have come in and set up through us are here bringing in skills, knowledge, technical transfer, and that's key in the logistics industries. It's key in any industry, and is really almost as important as the FDI stock is that the IP that's being brought here from the UK and is contributing to economic growth and diversification. We've got a team of 12 here, very representative of the UAE, in that we've got 8 or 9 different nationalities there. We cover multiple sectors and lots of regional experience. Next slide, Abby. I've mentioned here already our incubator platform, which is a sort of a way into the market, a soft landing, if you like, to hold your hand and look after you now for up to 5 years whilst you get the business started and keep look after you in that regard. And our other area of operation is around the trade services we offer in terms of market research, introductions, supporting on visits, helping you find agents, distributors, partners, helping on trade missions. Those missions are obviously now increasingly digital or remote, but there's a whole gamut of services that we can support you on, for your business wanting to do business here. We're going to move now on to the meat of the session, if you like. One thing I neglected to say is that please put your Q&A into the box there. We do have time afterwards for you to ask the experts about specific or general issues, so please do type away. I think we're starting here with a film on the logistics and supply chain, and I hope it works. Great. Okay, relief that worked here. So now our first speaker, and I'm really looking forward to this. My professional background was in the container shipping industry with P&O Nedlloyd and Maersk, so I'm very interested in hearing here. I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Jamal bin Margoob, who is the Senior Director of Sales at the Dubai Airport Free Zone Authority, DAFZA. Jamal, just check you're there, and I'll hand over to you. Please.
Yes, I'm here.
The floor is yours.
Good morning in UK, London. Good afternoon in Dubai. Thank you guys for organizing such a webinar. My briefing will be very short and it will get to the point. Basically, Dubai Airport Free Zone established in 1996, and we established this by the decree of the government. It was aimed to give people the chance to operate their business freely and utilize all the facilities that has Dubai offered, from the port to the airport cargos and from the banking system and everything. So we will start with a short video that summarizes DAFZA, what's all about DAFZA, and then we'll move to the presentation.
We use time. We buy time. We chase it. We shape and measure it. Because time shifts. It races. It flies. It runs. In seconds and minutes. In lifetimes. And in centuries. Because we know that this essential commodity is critical to individuals and business strategies, molding fortunes and destinies and history. This businessman is known as an inveterate trader and a veteran of futures. He is a man who measures everything from money, rewards, profit, to even risk. But above all, he scrutinizes time, analyzing the impact of its effectiveness. He arrives in the heart of Dubai looking to expand in a new territory, to grow a new business. He discovers the epicenter of commerce, the crossroads of 3 continents, in a market with access to a 1.8 billion population. He needs a place to grow and a place to harness the unlocked power of time. Dubai Airport Free Zone is strategically positioned to do just this. Close to the Dubai International Airport, with more than 150 airlines connecting over 220 destinations across 6 continents. There is easy access to logistics and cargo handling facilities for all import and export needs. Dubai Airport Free Zone rents light industrial units that can be utilized as warehouses for storage, distribution, assembly, and even light production. Creativity, dedication, entrepreneurship, ingenuity, and technical innovation have all come together in a state-of-the-art business park, offering world-class infrastructure and professional facilities. Over 200 multinationals and close to 100 Fortune 500 companies from various sectors have established themselves in a distinguished community. This esteemed cluster of companies allows for the expansion and exploration of new business opportunities within a vibrant and growing economic ecosystem. This free zone also promises excellent investment incentives and tax exemptions. Dubai Airport Free Zone is a gateway to government departments and customs. Clients can customize their work environment with the finest interiors. Dubai Airport Free Zone provides clients a one-stop shop, embracing all setup and administration services. For a man who is a master of efficiency and who upholds rigorous standards of excellence, being in the right place will give him the critical advantage and the freedom to achieve his goals. Because to be at Dubai Airport Free Zone is to be in one of the top free zones in the world, where he is free to grow.
As everybody's seen, that video have summarized a lot of things about DAFZA. DAFZA, like I said in the beginning, was established by the government of Dubai to ease the business in Dubai, allowing a lot of opportunities for businesses to come and establish a company, start their business without having a local partners in between. There are a lot of facilities that you can utilize in Dubai Airport Free Zone. But the focus when DAFZA started, it's about why the clients coming to this region and what was the objective. So the objectives was to grow their business from their home country from Dubai and go to the other MENA regions. So DAFZA have committed to be your partner in the region. DAFZA will connect you to the MENA region. And how we do that? Basically by giving you a lot of assistance, and that comes from different approach. Next, please. So, like I said in the beginning, the idea is you're coming from your home country to access the MENA region, and MENA region has 160 countries that you can start your business, whether it's in IT or whether it's electronics or a medical equipment, whatever it to be. But the point is you need to grow and you need the partner. DAFZA is your partner when it comes to that point. Next, please. So when we talk to our clients, first, let's go one step behind. Dubai and UAE is the right platform for everybody to establish their business in the MENA region and in GCC countries, given the fact that the connectivity of Emirates Airline and Etihad's, the banking system, the logistic platforms from Dubai Airport Free Zone, the air cargo, the Dubai South air cargo, and the Jebel Ali ports, that gives you the access to distribute your product in the region easily. And flying from whatever airport you have in UAE, from Abu Dhabi airport, Dubai airports, to connect you to go to a meeting in the MENA region is a fast. So what we do in Dubai Free Zone, we are your advisor, technically, let's say. Before you set up the business, you need to have a briefing on the cost of living in Dubai, how much it will cost me. That's basically before you starting your business, you need the cost calculation, how much it cost me to set up a company. So our business advisor in DAFZA will let you know how much the cost of living in Dubai now, and how much is the cost of hiring staff in Dubai now, from different nationalities, and doing business, because you're coming from different culture and coming to the MENA region with different type of cultures, especially from GCC or flying to North Africa or the other countries. So there will be a bit of understanding of a culture doing business in the UAE and neighboring countries, and the business behavior also, how to do a business, and what you will benefit once you set up in Dubai Free Zone. Definitely with the relationship of DAFZA having, can you please go back one slide? Yeah, definitely having the connectivity of DAFZA, you will be having the trade and buyer information, the MENA market intelligence, local exhibitions, list, local trade publication, networking and opportunities, the relationship between DAFZA and the business associations such as BBG or French Business Council, or a Japanese Business Councils, or a Korean Business Councils, or the Switzerland. You need to connect with those people to see how you can move around the regions, and definitely having the workshop and the seminars in the inward business, any delegations that's coming to Dubai Free Zone, we will welcome to have you on board and you can talk to them. The online trading, the buying list on those countries, we can provide it to you. The international exhibition that you can fly with us if you wish and participate. There are a lot of things that we will help you to expand your business once you land in Dubai and Dubai Airport Free Zone. Next, please. Your benefits, networking events between DAFZA tenants, that's what you'll see the pictures that will help you a lot. Introducing business associate, like I said, introducing government bodies. You were required to have a great relationship with the government bodies in Dubai, such as having non-objective NOCs from such organization, having FDI on board to help you to introduce companies, having a Dubai export to help you to direct you what is the regulations on those countries to export your business or products. Next, please. These are some of the events that we have organized in DAFZA. DAFZA is just another platform of business. Of course, when it comes to a business, we network the tenants between each other so they can do business and they can maximize on the business opportunities. We do a lot of sports activities also within that. So we keep DAFZA as a lifestyle business environment. Next, please. You can see from the logos, there are some of the companies that have taken DAFZA as a home of their businesses. This is just, like I said, we have over 1,600 companies that have taken advantage of this, being in DAFZA. In a nutshell, DAFZA have committed to grow your business. That's what I can say. Coming up to Dubai, setting up a company, that's great, but having a partner that will take you and guide you in your early stages, and then you can take off by yourself. That's what you're looking for as a partner. And DAFZA, I mean, Dubai is the first partner you would like to look at, and DAFZA will be your second partners in your journey. Thank you so much for having us today in your webinar.
Jamal, thank you very much. And I think that last slide encapsulates it, the ecosystem you've built there, big companies, medium companies, small companies, and the amount of business that's done within the zone, and then around those 160 companies that you mentioned there. So thank you very much, and I'm sure there'll be some questions.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so moving on now, about what, 30 or 40 kilometers down Sheikh Zayed Road, for those of you who are familiar with it, to the other end of Dubai, to Jebel Ali Free Zone Authority, to JAFZA, and I'm pleased to introduce here Mr. Mohammed Luta to give us an overview of JAFZA and some of the opportunities there.
Thank you very much, Joe. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Over to you.
First, I would like to thank all the organizers of this wonderful event during the pandemic. It's unfortunate that we, for a few months, missed out on networking events like this and forums like this. But we've made use of technology, we've made use of webinars, and I'm delighted to be here today. I just would like to thank His Excellency Fahd Al-Gargawi, His Excellency Mr. Al-Naqbi in the UK, Bradley Jones, as well as yourself, Joe, and all the attendees and the participants here today. Thank you. If we can just go to the next slide, please. Okay, I mean, His Excellency Fahd Al-Gargawi touched upon the geographical advantage that Dubai enjoys. And this is something that historically, as a people in Dubai, we've always used that from the old days in the Creek. Dubai has always been a trading hub. And we've built upon that. And with the establishment of Jebel Ali Port in 1975, as well as Jebel Ali Free Zone 10 years later, we've built upon those strengths in multifolds, so to speak. And we find ourselves today, as part of DP World, enjoying the presence of inland and sea terminals in 40 countries around the world. And today we'll discuss the impact of these advantages on logistics companies, be it in the Middle East or be it in Europe or North or South America or anywhere around the world. How do logistics companies take advantage of Jebel Ali Free Zone, of Jebel Ali Port, DP World, and what we can do to enable that and to further enhance their experience in trade volume and reaching their markets. Next, please. Geographical coverage. I think the key here is the access or potential market size to over 3 billion people through Jebel Ali port. We'll go into the details of the port to fully understand how we deliver that, notwithstanding and not discounting the fact that the road network within the Gulf is extremely capable for cargo to reach GCC countries within 1 to 2 days. And that in itself makes Jebel Ali port a feeder to the markets locally on the ground in the region. Next, please. So we spoke about the 3 billion people, and we did speak about the ways that DP World has enhanced Jebel Ali port to such a level that 3 billion people are within access. How that works, we have a deep sea port with roughly 23 kilometers of quayside that delivers over 4 or 5 different kinds of cargo, such as general cargo, ro-ro, liquid bulk, containers, etc., etc. Surrounding that port, it's very important to understand that the environment and ecosystem is also in place. So you have around 78 million square meters of Jebel Ali Free Zone that hosts over 9,000 companies. And these companies precisely are within that zone to be close to their cargo, to be close to their customers, to have a logistical distribution center that is ready to be deployed and sent at any given time. They also enjoy the points that my colleague in DAFZA touched upon, which is 100% foreign ownership, no recruitment restrictions, and many different policies that will enhance their ability to fully be in the market at the shortest possible time. Next, please. We speak about multimodal connectivity. We have, and we are delighted to say that we have a direct customs-bound connectivity between our port and Al Maktoum International Airport, which is the latest addition to the air cargo capabilities of the city of Dubai. This allows the goods to travel from sea to air and vice versa in a short period of time. We did speak about the accessible highways that will connect all cargo to the local emirates around us, as well as GCC countries. Etihad Rail is in the planning phase and in some areas already under construction. That just adds an additional dimension of transport to GCC countries. Next, please. So when we look at our clients, it's very important to consider logistics companies as the backbone of clients that we have. So we enjoy over 350 logistic companies already established in the free zone, in addition to another 8,500 to 9,000 companies of traders, manufacturers, and light industrial and heavy industrial units. Why do they choose that? First and foremost, it is the proximity to Jebel Ali port. It is the proximity to a deep sea port that will give them access to India, to Africa, to the North and South Americas and the Far East, as well as Europe. That proximity is very important, but we also have to take into account the setup and the ease of setup. When we talk about the speed of service, of same-day company setup, 100% ownership, it's very important to also include the re-domicile options that they have. So companies who want to protect their anteriority, if they're family-owned businesses from 50 to 60 to 100 years, we have the processes and the policies to protect that and transfer them from their home territory to Jebel Ali Free Zone. And we continue to upgrade and streamline all of these licensing options for our clients. On the right-hand side, you see our integrated service offerings. So the major partners are all present in our free zone, from the immigration to telecoms to Dubai Police and Customs, are all present there, as well as present on the platform Dubai Trade, which we're proud to have. Next, please. So speaking directly to logistics companies who are looking or have an eye on Jebel Ali Free Zone in terms of having a presence here, I would say with confidence that all logistics companies at one point or another have dealt with Jebel Ali Free Zone, have used Jebel Ali Port. It is a key player in cargo from east to west and vice versa. But when they look at a presence here, when they look at a distribution center or a storage or any form of physical presence, Jebel Ali Free Zone is, I would believe, the right place to be, especially for clients from the logistics industry. And we'll speak about the British clients in the next slide. Next, please. We look at a snapshot of trade between the UK and JAFZA. I think one of the key takeaways from here is the number of employees or the number of British citizens employed in JAFZA. It's about 10,000 employees. It speaks volumes in terms of the environment that they work in, the efficiency and the speed, and they certainly reap the rewards by growing year on year. Next, please. So the highlights to take away from all of this is the capability of DP World Jebel Ali Port. That, I think, is the anchor to everything that we have around Jebel Ali Free Zone. The ability to handle all kinds of cargo, the benefit of having a deep sea port, concessions and the best available rates for all shipping lines, as well as the ability to transfer cargo from sea to air in a very short period of time. Next, please. We speak about sea to air. We've highlighted the corridor or the custom bounds corridor between Jebel Ali Port and Al Maktoum International Airport. We also have to look at sea specifically with over 80 weekly shipping services to 150 global ports around the world. Some of them are also ports and terminals under the DP World organization, which also gives an additional layer of comfort for all our clients. The GCC road network is one of the world-class networks that we can consider globally speaking for heavy cargo and light cargo. And of course, the digital platform Dubai Trade just consolidates all the services that our clients require within one username and password accessible platform, which makes life extremely efficient and saves on time. Next, please. Looking into a more focused look on the Dubai Trade platform, you can see that the Dubai Trade platform gives you access to customs services, to DP World transactions, all sorts of banking transactions and immigration, as well as an insight on Sky Cargo transactions as well. In the end, it just saves $40 billion or so directly and indirectly since its inception. And the key takeaway here is the reduction in time and the ease of business. Next, please. There's a very famous quote from the book of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, who's the Vice President of the United Arab Emirates and ruler of Dubai. Dubai was built on trade, not oil. And as DP World Jebel Ali Free Zone, we continue to nurture that. We want to nurture trade between countries, not least with the UK, which is a fantastic trade partner. But we want to nurture it around the world, and we consider ourselves at DP World a global trade enabler, which is something we continue to work for every day. Next, please. Thank you very much. I do appreciate your time and your attendance and your attention.
Mohammed, thank you, and please do hold on for questions. I mean, we did our tech webinar, I think 3 weeks ago, and obviously a lot around the smart city initiatives and things that Dubai's espoused and has rolled out. And your Dubai trade portal there is another excellent example of how Dubai, brings technology into all sectors and industries. Okay, moving on, and I think now we're back to our friends from Dubai FDI, and I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Ibrahim Ahli, who's Director of Investment Promotion at Dubai FDI. Like Farhad, Ibrahim's a great friend of the BCB and of British business in general. Normally at this time of year, Ibrahim and I would probably be doing a roadshow in the UK, bringing this to you in person. So Ibrahim's no stranger to the UK and is going to talk a bit more around the Dubai advantage and the accessibility from Dubai into the region and how that can benefit your business. Ibrahim.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much. I had the pleasure to be in London, UK last January, and we've done 5 days seminars and events and B2B meetings with companies. So, and I had the pleasure to meet Mr. Marwan Al-Naqbi at the UAE Embassy in London, which was really the last business trip before COVID-19, lockdown and all of that. So I had the pleasure to be there and enjoying the freezing cold weather in January. So, ladies and gentlemen, my presentation will be Dubai Advantage, which is a part of Dubai FDI at the Department of Economic Development. And I believe the time is very, very restricted, so I'll be very quick with this presentation. Talking about Dubai as a city, obviously, as mentioned by just my colleague Mohammed Louta, on Dubai being a city of trade, and this is the Dubai's GDP contribution for last year. It shows the majority goes into the wholesale and retail trade, where storage and transportation is 12.8%, because it's, Dubai is the hub for the aviation and shipping in the whole of our region. And as you can see, there is no contribution towards the oil and gas, because it's only 2%, if not less than that. Next, please. Dubai as the gateway, we are the gateway to the Gulf countries, the Middle East, the Indian subcontinent is very, very important market, which is nearby. And we are the perfect gateway to Africa as a continent, as the whole continent. And here, with the perfect platform in Dubai, you reach really 2.4 billion consumers. That's the direct access. And obviously with the flights, to the UK, if we just talk about before COVID-19, we had tens and tens of flights between different airlines, Dubai to different cities in the United Kingdom. And it is gradually coming back where, where Emirates usually had 10 flights a day, if you imagine, to three airports at London, Heathrow, Gatwick, and Stansted. But it is coming back slowly. And we had also flights to Manchester, Birmingham, Newcastle, Glasgow, as well as Edinburgh. So let's hope that by early next year, we will have these flights back. The trade between, from Dubai, we are the trade hub in our region, 19.3 million TEUs. Jebel Ali Port had into 2018, which is just mentioned by Mr. Mohammed Louta, adjacent to the Dubai South. The second airport, Al Maktoum International Airport, being the first world aerotropolis, targeting 220 million by 2030. Next, please. These are just some statistics of the airport movement. Last year, we had 91 million passengers went through the Dubai International Airport, as well as the second. We are actually the busiest international passengers airport. And hopefully, let's say by next year, things will come back gradually with the movement of the aviation industry in the whole world, not just Dubai, but as well as London, Heathrow, and the rest. Next, please. Dubai as the hub, obviously Dubai imports all sorts of products from different parts of the world, and the majority of 80% goes into re-export in the whole of our region. Next, please. Just to showcase the Expo 2020 Dubai, actually it was scheduled for yesterday, 20th of this month to start, but by all means, and the reason of the COVID-19, it had to be decided to move to next year. So it will start next year on 1st of October for the duration of 6 months. And the theme will be connecting minds, creating the future, with the sub-themes being mobility is very, very important sector, sustainability and opportunity. And UK obviously will have a fantastic pavilion with the rest of the international countries having their pavilions. Next, please. Talking about Dubai with its infrastructure, it is absolutely fantastic, always modern and new and growing because of the how busy it is to maneuver within the city. And you will see here there is a 594 million US dollars public transport passengers for last year, and the third attractive investment destination for the infrastructure by international investors. Next, please. This is the numbers of the public transport services by different modes of transport, and they're all quite new, such as buses and water taxis, as well as the taxis, trams, and the metros. I mean, the Dubai Metro itself being very, very successful, where different cities and countries in the neighboring countries are doing similar to make sure that people do commute as visitors and those who are residents in Dubai in a very nice and smooth way. Next, please. Dubai Plan for 2021, obviously we're working very hard to achieve all of that, 6 initiatives for the city to be educated, healthy, innovative, and a happy individual for everyone, offering sustainable economic growth and being a smart city, healthy living environment for those who live and visit. Next, please. Dubai being a smart city, and here wanted to talk about the strategy goal is for Dubai to be the first blockchain powered government driving the future economy and the world's first ever government to execute all of the applicable transactions in all government entities by blockchain technology by end of this year. Next, please. Ladies and gentlemen, Dubai government goes forward in the artificial intelligence, AI. This is to add 182 billion US dollars into the United Arab Emirates economy by 2035. And it goes into different 15 sectors in the whole of the United Arab Emirates, but the majority goes into these 5, which are the financial service sector, 37 billion, followed by the healthcare, transport, storage segment. As you can see here, there is a 19 billion US dollars for it. Next, please. Federal Science, Technology and Innovation Policy by the Dubai government is really to target 40% increase in the knowledge workers by the end of next year. There is a pool of 82 billion US dollars that goes the majority into the clean energy projects, as well as the renewable energy, total of 54 billion US dollars. And here also you would see there's an 11 billion US dollars for the aviation, R&D and manufacturing sector. Next, please. Manufacturing sector, when we talk about it, is really to the target is to become a global platform for the knowledge-based, sustainable and innovative industries. And there is a 19 billion US dollars bank credit to the United Arab Emirates industrial sector to have 190% growth over 10 years. And next, please. The sectors for the manufacturing are these most important 6 sectors targeted for Dubai. You would see here first is aerospace, second goes to maritime, as Dubai is the shipping and aviation hub for the whole of this region, followed by the pharmaceuticals, medical equipments, fast-moving consumable goods with machinery and equipment, and the others. Next, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is a brief and quick presentation of Dubai Advantage for the logistics sector. And we really appreciate BCB, OCO Global, our strategic partners and friends who have put the 4 fabulous and successful webinars in 4 different sectors in the last month, which today is the last, and we will be missing you, Joe, very much. Thank you very much for your support with your team support.
Pleasure. Thank you for the presentation, and thank you for that. And for, I think this is a testament to that strong UK-UAE partnership that I think we've all talked to. So thank you, Ibrahim. Now we're opening up the, no, we have a video. Sorry, we're going to finish with the video and then we're going to go to Q&A. So I was getting ahead of myself. Okay, well, that concludes, and I think a very good way to conclude with another look at some of the assets and initiatives that make this such a compelling place for the logistics and supply chain industry. I don't think we've got too many questions yet live, so we got a few on email, and probably for you this one, Ibrahim, and you obviously touched on Expo, but I think there is general interest around the world about Expo 2020 is still Expo 2020, but in 2021. Can you talk to that a little bit more? And
yes, well, the name will still be as it is, Joe, correct. Expo 2020, Dubai, United Arab Emirates. But the dates will be starting from 1st of October next year for the duration of 6 months. I mean, the infrastructure is already completed at the site of Expo, as it was going to open yesterday, 20th of October. So everything is geared up for it. This will be the biggest number of countries that will have pavilions and participation with different NGOs and some companies, international big, large companies, such as Siemens and others. And the UK will have a fantastic participation with a very large pavilion where UK companies will have an excellent opportunity to showcase its know-how, services, and products. So there is, the mobility side of the theme, and that is itself is very important, where Dubai is, a crossroad between East and West and North and South. So whether it is shipping, as you've heard from our colleagues from JAFZA, our colleague from JAFZA, Mr. Mohammed Uta, or the aviation hub from Jamal of DAFZA. So yes, it will, definitely it will be back, it will come next year, it will happen, it will be very successful. And for sure, everyone will look for it because that's the opportunity to meet and to do business.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think as we do look towards a genuinely post-COVID world in a year's time, I think it provides for a very nice light at the end of the current tunnel that everyone's looking forward to. And I think as far as logistics goes, I think it might have been on the first video there where Siemens are setting up their global logistics headquarters at District 2020, where there's a hub developing around transport and logistics and companies there. Another question we got in, and this is probably for you to share, Jamal and Mohammed, if you can. I mean, a lot of what everyone's been talking about has been the hub and the regional access. Now, actually, obviously, in the last month, that regional access has got even bigger because the establishment of relations with Israel and the signing of the Abraham Accord, and whilst obviously I think the first commercial flight was yesterday with Etihad. What are you expecting there in terms of bilateral trade? And I guess the next question to that is, how do UK companies get involved with that? I guess it's as simple as now a presence in DAFZA or JAFZA now allows you to serve Israel just as it does Saudi Arabia or India. Mohammed, can you go first on that?
Yes, it's a very good point. The Abraham Accords did open up a completely new channel for free zones around the region, especially in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, but more so for the ones that are centered around trade and logistics rather than services. The volume of trade that goes between countries around the world to and from Israel has always bypassed us purely because, despite being the logical partner in terms of trade routes between East and West, and the capabilities we have as Jebel Ali Port in handling sizes and volumes that Israel does not have the capability to do so. Politically speaking, we've now made a very big step, and we look forward to welcome British companies who have big volumes of cargo going to and from that region. And we look forward to hosting them and handling that cargo for them.
Thank you. Jamal, would you like to add anything there? I think Jamal has moved off. So thank you for that, Mohammed. A question, and anyone can jump in on this. I mean, from a COVID impact, we've seen around the world and here as well, a shift to online, a shift to e-commerce, a shift to away from physical retail and trade into e-commerce. And I guess this might be for you firstly, for Mohammed. I mean, what have you seen there in terms of either increases in business from the likes of your DHLs and Schenkers to new entrants in the market who are around, e-com fulfillment and some of these newer areas of logistics? Has the last 6 months seen material changes in trends or developments that you can talk to?
The pandemic highlighted the importance of the work we do at DP World Jebel Ali Port. At a time where many companies and businesses had to revise their operations and for their own safety, ours was imperative to continue. One of my colleagues, I think it was His Excellency Fahd Al-Gargawi, spoke about the importance of DP World Jebel Ali Port in bringing in PPE, medical equipment, ventilators, and all sorts of essential goods. Not even considering the pharmaceutical industry and the food industry, to ensure security in terms of medicine and food to the region as well as to the UAE. So our role there was very important. We did, however, enjoy the benefits of Dubai Trade and the online platforms we established over 8 years ago. And we saw that very much in play during the pandemic, purely because all the transactions that needed to happen while most of our colleagues were working from home kept on going seamlessly through the Dubai Trade portal.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's borne out from what we see in the city. Ibrahim.
Can I add one thing? Thank you very much, my colleague Mohammed. It's a good question. What was highlighted by His Excellency Mr. Marwan al-Naqbi at the UAE Embassy in London on having United Arab Emirates being so generous to provide medical aid, equipment, and on immediate effect to many countries in the region and beyond, even up to Costa Rica, Panama, and somewhere like Vietnam and other places. That couldn't happen unless we had a perfect aviation hub in Dubai. And I'll give an example, not only just Etihad Airways and Emirates using their passenger aircrafts, the 777 Boeing, into freighters and cargos, but it showed at that very difficult time of COVID-19 and the lockdowns everywhere and so on, that we did manage as a United Arab Emirates with its 3 main hubs of airports, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and Sharjah, with 4 national carriers, managed to really move such products was in need at that time. Not just the pharmaceutical products or the equipment for COVID-19, but also food products. So we managed to move really products from east to west and north to south at that time that was needed, and still we do that. So that showcased the perfect platform that Dubai provides, as well as Abu Dhabi, the capital, and Sharjah and other cities in United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, and for anyone who's interested more on that food and drink supply chain and food security aspect, we covered that in our first webinar about a month ago. That's available online, or you can follow us on LinkedIn and you'll see it there, because there was some detailed discussion on what Ibrahim's just mentioned. Bradley, if I can turn to you, I mean, I think on Mohammed's presentation, he showcased some of the UK companies that are present in JAFZA, and obviously we at the beginning there's 5,000 UK companies present in the whole of Dubai and more in the whole of the UAE. To what extent are you aware of either your members or UK companies' business here versus business regionally, and is there sort of a 20% here and 80% regionally, or how does that equation work for UK companies looking from a regional aspect, if you like?
Well, I think UK companies are looking for a hub. in the Gulf. And obviously the UAE has great strengths, its deep sea ports and its free zones and so on. And I think they're looking for hubs where, you know, the regulatory environment makes it very easy to manufacture. And they're looking for the locations where there is a lot of, emphasis placed on the new technology and in terms of manufacturing. So, for example, our industry and infrastructure working group is co-chaired by Badr Al-Alama from Mubadala Strata, who also is very much involved in the global manufacturing and industry summits. And that working group is going to look specifically at how we can educate British companies about the opportunities of establishing new manufacturing bases in the free zones in the UAE, where they can harness all this new technology and the light touch regulatory environment and use that as an entry point into the wider Gulf markets. And as you alluded to earlier, Joe, as well, as an entry point into Israel. So I think there's a lot of kind of curiosity and excitement about this. I think the next step for us is to raise awareness of those opportunities in the UK and better educate UK companies about what each of the individual free zones can offer in terms of support to manufacturing customers.
Very good. Okay, well, thanks, Brad. And I've just lost my camera. I think you can still see me. I've just lost the screen.
Yes, we can, yeah.
I'm trying to see if there was any more questions, and I've managed to sort of turn myself off, but I can see the light's still on. But I think we're out of questions there. So it's left to me to thank all of our guests from Dubai FDI, from the UAE Embassy, from DAFZA, from JAFZA, from the UAE UK Business Council. Thank you very much for joining us. And I think it's testament to how we do business here that everybody's shared their details there for all of the participants to get in touch with directly afterwards. Thank you very much for joining us this morning in the UK, this afternoon in the UAE or elsewhere in the world, or whatever time it is when you log on and download this later. As we've seen, many of our webinars have been viewed at, after the event. So thank you for joining us. Do please get in touch if you have any questions about this or any other part of doing business in Dubai. We can relay you on to the right people, and we wish you a very good day ahead. Thank you.